Hi friends, I'm Scott Giles and welcome to Saturday at 2:30, the video podcast that I do here on Facebook Live every Saturday at 2:30 Central, and then I'll put up on my YouTube channel after a bit of editing and tweaking. Um, I'm a consulting hypnotist and I'm a life coach, and every Saturday I do talk about some aspect of coaching or the hypnotic arts and sciences. Today's kind of a different one. I want to talk about why things that are forbidden, nefarious, or edgy seem so attractive. This is something I've pondered for a great many years. Now, when I mentioned in the tailor to my video of last week that I was going to include some personal information from my own youth when I was a knife fighter, specifically a switchblade artist, I demonstrated a switchblade by holding it up to the camera. Immediately, I have gotten responses from people saying, "Can you show us more of that sort of thing?" Yeah, sure, I can. I'm a martial artist myself as an adult, a healthier channeling of that part of my personality. I'm a multiple black belt, and I was the weapons instructor in the traditional weapons of ancient Korea and Japan for my dojang for 10 years, with a strong emphasis, in fact, in blade fighting. So I have quite a collection. Uh, my interest in that knife fighting began very early in my life and has continued, as I said, in a more healthy vein as a formal martial artist. However, I don't want to put a sampling of my blade collection on a publicly accessible YouTube video. That's just not the right vibe for this. I do have a Patreon channel, and when I edit this, you'll see the logo, the URL for that. You could also access it through my website. If you really want to see that stuff, I will shoot a Patreon-only video in the month of September 2020, which will show various fighting knives and including some of the stories that I have about them. Uh, my Patreon channel is there for the things that are edgier or more personal. Uh, to access those videos, it's only $5 a month. So if you want to do it for just 1 month and then cancel your subscription, you're welcome to do that. But that's the only way you're going to see the full collection of blades that you might be interested in. For the rest of you, I want to return to my actual topic. Why is the forbidden so attractive? Now, it's clear that it is. I'm going to talk a bit about relationships, but even beyond that, there is something in us that kind of craves that thing which we are told we shouldn't have. Think about the prevalence of the anti-hero in the modern literature. For example, Jackson, Sons of Anarchy. But not just that. Dillinger, Al Capone, Billy the Kid, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Bonnie and Clyde, these figures that are legendary in our cultural consciousness, every one of them a nefarious, edgy kind of figure, yet there's an attraction there. There are books, there are articles, there are museums, there are movies. What's going on with that? And as consulting hypnotists, this is something that's worth studying. I've long maintained it's the edgier things that are worth attention because things that will eventually become mainstream tend to show up first there. So this is something going on in human motivation, in human attraction. And if we are the experts in suggestive communication, we need to understand what's going on with this. My wife Lindsay and I have a personal joke between us about people who subscribe to what we call the cosmic muffin theory. That is, they're convinced that the world is this wonderful, bright, cheery place and nothing bad ever happens and bad things never happen to good people, or they want to behave that way. And that is so obviously counterfactual. I mean, in the Old Testament, the book of Job had to be written to correct that mistaken belief. So what is it about the dark side? Why is Darth Vader just as important as Luke Skywalker in the narrative? Now, never underestimate the power of that which appears forbidden. And here's where I want to talk a little bit about myself. A number of you know that I left home at an early age, detaching from my family at about the age of 15. I survived, including being able to find the money to feed myself, in part because I became violent. I became a fighter. And you could hire me to do security for your event or your drug deal or whatever it is you wanted to get security for. And I had a reputation, beginning with a standard folding knife and quickly becoming an expert with the switchblade. And yeah, here's a switchblade. Now, this is not a particularly good fighting knife. If you're going to actually be a knife fighter, this is probably the worst thing in the world to have in your hand. A serious fighting knife, and I'm going to show you one, will be something like this. It's not a switchblade, but it opens just as fast, so no legal problems. Notice how it has a back edge, so you can do a back cut. The edge is curved, and this allows you to slash. And in an actual encounter, if you're not trying to kill your opponent, you slash, you don't stab. If you stab, you could hit a vital organ. If you slash, you're just causing pain. A knife like a switchblade is intended to stab. They come from Italy. That's where these were developed, the Italian stiletto. They were used in assassination. And they are intended to quickly come in with a smooth motion and actually penetrate. That's not what you want to do if you are actually engaged in a knife fight. So yet, what I noticed early on, I should drop a caveat here. If you get really good with one of these, yeah, then you can use it for a variety of things. If you actually become an artist, there are techniques developed from Renaissance rapier fighting that you can do with a blade like this that will be very effective in almost any situation. And the switchblade knife, almost uniquely among folding blades, can be thrown using a no-spin throw. That will destroy almost any other folding blade. But back to topic. What I noticed early on is, if you're having a violent encounter, if you use kind of an orthodox fighting blade, you fight. But if instead you pulled out one of these, a switchblade, the other person backed down, almost 9 times out of 10. Why? This is illegal. This is forbidden. Now, I should mention they're not illegal now. Some states, including my own, have provision for certain citizens to own these, and I have that permission. But back in the day, no, I didn't. When an illegal knife came into play, it was taboo, it was forbidden. People got more scared and more respectful of it, and they would withdraw. Never underestimate the power of that which appears forbidden. Now, talk about relationships. I joked in a promo on this that, good girls like bad boys and good boys like bad girls. That's gross oversimplification. It's a sexist statement. There are more than just 2 genders, and all of that's true. Nonetheless, there is an attraction to a potential romantic partner that's edgy. Why? Why? There's actually been research on this. The very first piece of research I encountered decades ago with John Malloy's book, Dress for Success, a book that I read to learn about how I should dress when I wanted to appear in polite society. And one of the things he said is that in terms of your behavior, if you kind of act like an arrogant jerk, if you're a guy in a public setting, women find that attractive. And I didn't quite believe that, but subsequent research has shown that. A recent book came out called Hormonal, The Hidden Intelligence of Hormones by Marty Hazelton. And I believe it's Marty. Yes, Marty Hazelton. And what she's pointed out in objective research that women, when they're ovulating, when they're fertile, find themselves much more likely to score higher on measurement scales potential mates who are alpha, who are arrogant, who are putting themselves out there and taking risks. It's what she calls the good genes theory. The They're attracted to partners that seem to have these alpha traits because those genes would be passed to progeny. Um, and as not everyone can be alpha, alphas are a scarce resource, and so there's competition for them. She describes kind of the ultimate alpha guy being the sexy cad. Now, again, a dismissive term, but I think you get the vibe. On the other side, there's a well known dating coach in Australia by the name of Joshua Pompey, who, from the point of view of a guy looking for a female partner or someone who self identifies as someone who's looking for someone who self identifies as a female, uh, it is much the case that someone who's edgy is more attractive. Now, his thing is that guys hunt women forage. You know, a woman goes into a shopping mall to buy a pair of shoes and comes out with two suits, an umbrella, a sweater, some dish towels, and whatever she went in there for. Whereas a guy goes into the mall, goes directly to what he wants, buys it, and brings it out. There's a directness in the way the male-ish brain is wired. And if you're going to be thinking of yourself as a hunter, a woman who appears more sexually alluring, more sexually available, who appears more willing to take risks, is a more desirable target to hunt. And so that seems to be what's going on with this. Now, on one level, when I first encountered all of this, it was really depressing. I mean, no wonder people are having such rotten relationships. They go get involved with these either superficial, flirtatious individuals or these abusive cads, and they have bad experiences. And there are all these nice people out there who treat each other with respect, and and they never seem to get any play. Uh, the point of view, both with Pompey and Hazelton, is that we're not controlled by our genes. We should realize that there is this genetically determined attraction, but we should be able to say to ourselves that what I'm feeling is there to help my ancestors who lived in a world unlike the world I'm living in now. And I can ask myself, what do I really want? And that is precisely the point of their research. How can we go through our lives noticing, having fun with that which is edgy and forbidden and attractive, uh, but at the same time not falling for it, making good decisions that serve us well. And that's something everyone should reflect on. And this goes even beyond relationships. Uh, in religious literature, in the Old Testament, in the tabernacle of the Hebrew religion, there was a section cordoned off, the Holy of Holies, and only the high priest could go in there. In Orthodox Christian churches today, the altar is behind the screen called an iconostance, and doors are open during the service, and periodically, though, they're closed. A lot of the service takes place in this restricted Holy of Holies because it's set apart, it's forbidden to everyone else. It makes it special, and that makes it more attractive. So, my theory, what's going on with this? And there undoubtedly are multiple things going on, but the contribution I would make to the discussion is that in our human development, when we're children, there are lots of things in our socialization that we're attracted to. Oh, shiny! But we're told we can't have because they're dangerous to us or we're not capable of dealing with them safely. So, certain kinds of dating, things like alcohol, the use of credit cards or money, these are restricted for adults or people who are older. And they got privileges that we don't have. It's forbidden to us. And therefore, it's attractive. And that's why you sneak out at night to go to the party that your parents wouldn't let you go to, because you want that which is forbidden, that which is set apart from you. because the good stuff we believe in our childlike brain is being kept away from us, and therefore we want it. And that's the attraction to the edgy romantic partner, to the hidden spiritual mystery, to the opponent who's using something that we don't know how to deal with or we find intimidating. Uh, the things which are off limits are desirable. So, as hypnotists, those of us who are, how do we configure our practices? How do we configure ourselves and our personal presentation? How do we configure our lifestyle so that we have a taste of that which we know other people will find attractive, without, however, fully embracing that nefarious theme, becoming an abusive cad? We don't want to do that, but we do want a little bit of that edge, regardless of our gender or what is it? How can we build in just a touch of the darkness to keep things interesting? In any painting, if there is no shadow, it's boring. And we don't want to be boring. And we don't want our practices boring. So reflect upon that for whatever it's worth. Thank you for your attention. I'll be back next week at 2:30 Central Time with a different talk. I'm going to take up a topic that one of my viewers has suggested I cover, which is how do you assign homework to your clients? And I'll be talking about that. And for my patrons, watch out for the email that the private video about blade fighting is ready. I should have it done probably this next week. Thank you much. Please like and share. Stay well and stay safe.